this is Stitching at the Cabin. Alyssa is still not here. She was here earlier today, and I was really hoping we were going to be able to do something together finally, but alas, it did not work. She ended up having to go to the doctor today, and I went with her to kind of help with the baby, and then everything blew up at work, and we did not get a chance. But she does want to, and we will eventually. But for the foreseeable future, you have me and only me, and I hope that does not make you sad. Today is September 17th. I think it's a Tuesday. I initially filmed last night, and I was still incredibly stressed, and you could tell. And while I didn't even watch it back, it bothered me. It didn't feel right, so we're going to try it again tonight. I had so much life stuff that the one I filmed last night was only life stuff. But I thought it over and decided I don't want to split between life and stitching, so you get all of it. It will be stressful a little bit from some of the stuff that happened, but we'll get through it. We've got this. We'll do it together. First of all, I just want to say that I am incredibly sorry to a friend that lost her father somewhat unexpectedly recently, and my heart really goes out to her. It's very sad, and she's coping very well, but I just want you to know that I love you and I'm thinking of you. On with FlossTube. So I did not do a WIP share only because my husband had my phone. We do HelloFresh, and there's the week that I'm going to be at Stitch West, and I generally pick the meals. He says I'm the picky one, but really I just can't handle spicy stuff, so I just try to make sure it's not spicy. So I've been picking all this stuff, but since I'm not going to be there a chunk of that week, I had my son pick a meal, I picked a meal, and then I had my husband pick a meal, and so he had my phone, and that's where I have the wheel to spin to see. So that is the only reason I did not do a WIP share this week. We will go back to that in the next episode. I do have some finishes though, and I wrote those down because those were on my computer and I could see on my computer. So there are 2 finishes that I am aware of. If there are others and I missed them, please resend them. The first finish that I have that I was aware of is Pam Rosenberry. She stitched When Life Is Done by Silver Creek Samplers. Should be familiar because that's what I stitched for Taco when he passed away. She did hers on 18 count antique Ada. It is for her mom who passed away. I am sorry, Pam. I'm sorry. What I love about this is the bat that's on there, that little charm. She said, now I can't get this quite right. She worded it very well, but in a loving way, her husband teased her mom about being an old bat. And so she put this old bat pin on there, and that just touched me. That is so awesome. I absolutely love that. So congratulations on your finish. I am sorry that you had to do this one. I feel your pain. I have been there with Taco with the whole, yeah, it's tough. In the same vein, this is the theme. Kim, she on Instagram is the classic stitcher. She stitched, I don't know what this is. It's beautiful. I have a stone with the same wording on it outside. That's where Seiki lives. That's where we buried her after she died. She was also a dog, but that was actually years and years ago at the old house, and I couldn't leave the old house and leave her behind, so my husband was kind enough to dig her up with the stone and move her here and replant her. So that was before I knew you could cremate dogs. The other 2 dogs were here. Well, Taco's actually up there and Bridget is in the hallway. Anyway, Kim stitched this for her dog Cody, who she just lost, and I know she's really struggling, and I am so sorry. My heart goes out to you too. It's so difficult to lose loved ones, especially for me, animals. I don't know, it's so hard, and a lot of people I think don't understand. If you haven't been there, you don't understand how hard losing a pet is. And so when you get that, it was just a dog, cat, fish, bird, cow, chicken, whatever. It's hard because people just don't get it. Well, you know, it was only a dog. Why are you still grieving? No, it takes time. Seiki died probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and I think about her all the time. She was such a good dog. I talk to Taco every time I'm up here, every night, every morning. I talk to him. Anyway, congratulations to you as well, Kim. It's beautiful, and I'm also very sorry for your loss. On a happier note, I have some WIPs. I have 2 finishes, and they're not tiny finishes. I did good. Although I really haven't stitched that much because I was gone for a while, and I will tell you about that very briefly. I think I'm going to make it much shorter than what I did last night, and just hit the key points that where I have video or pictures, so it's more interesting for you guys. But let's start with keto. And I know I lost a needle because I heard it fall when I was trying to put it down, and I don't know where it went, and I looked and I couldn't find it, so someone will step on it and find it for me, because, you know, that's the kind of loving wife, mother I am. Keto, 25 count, 2/1 full cross, Annie Stegg, Heaven and Earth Designs. I think that was my spiel. The bottom of the page is just right here. We're getting close, people. And then when we get over here, it's gonna go much quicker because there's only a handful of colors. So I would love to finish this by the end of the year. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not, because I'll finish this by the end of September. October, November, December. I mean, it's possible if it doesn't have confetti. It's possible, but it's not likely. And then we'll roll up the little eyeballs and move down and head back across. Again, I can't tell you what page it is, 20 something, I think. And of course you can't see what's up there, but like that's the top of her head. She's up there. You like these? I like these. I will take all the pictures after because I've just discovered that seems to work the best. That is the best solution, I believe. So taking the place of the Chatelaine is my Afghan, my Harvest Afghan. I am working on 2 Afghans. This is the newer start. I really like these big squares. This is also 4/2, which I don't have a problem with. It is a little more meh getting 2 strands and bending them rather than 1. 1 is much quicker. But it's so pretty and it's so much fun. And I really wish that I had more time to work on it because this is in my office. And I'll tell you what happened with work briefly. It was very, very, very stressful. It was awful. I don't wish that on anyone at all, ever. I hope it's never happened to you. I hope it never happens to you. You will find out if you stick around. Anyway, I've been working down here. Oh, just pretty much all of it. I mean, you'll see in the before and after. And hopefully I have put in a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Normally I would split screen it so you could see, but my iMovie is still doing weird things and I can't zoom in. I can't move things so they're just in places. I can't do it. It doesn't work anymore. It won't let me. I did update the computer today. Maybe I'll try again, but most likely it'll crash iMovie again. So Alyssa said she'd look at it at some point, but she doesn't have the time. Anyway, I got everything, I think, from 1, 2, 3 Stitch has a pattern, and I may have gotten the pattern there, but Stony Creek has the fabric, and I don't remember the count. I think it's 18, but I know it's really big, so you're like, I don't know, I feel the same, I don't know. That's like gonna be the gutter on the house, and yeah, I love it. I would work on it way more often if I could. I think I already said that. Now my downstairs project, which I used to get a ton of work on, which I don't anymore. I did leave the house today, but I put jammy bottoms on when I got back. But like, I'm dressed. It's a little hard. I'm dressed. Oh, I should probably remove the pattern so you're not looking at that. I mean, it's not the full pattern. It's nice because you can cut it. It has little lines and you can cut it. So anyway, I did finish the motif that was over here. I just don't think if I take this off, you'll be able to see it. I was like gonna pop. I'll try popping just the side, but I think it'll still get stuck because of the bottom Q-snap. Weesh. But let's try. Oh, you can see. Okay, so I finished her and her little umbrella and all the flowers. And then we moved over here and I've been working up here, and now I'm working on whatever these flowery things are for the next motif. I do enjoy it. I don't get much time. I struggle with this fabric. I think it's probably, oh, I pinched myself. I have not ever done that before. I think it's probably casual linen. It's whatever came in the kit from Owl Florist, and that kit's downstairs, so I can't look. But I struggle to get it in the right hole. I don't know what it is about this, but I do struggle, and I have had some real issues being like half a stitch off. But anyway, making progress. Another one. It's fun. You gotta have good light if you're gonna use this fabric, and you're me. Maybe other people don't have that issue. I do. I most definitely have that issue. And I realize now that I have not talked long enough in places possibly to show the before and after. So hopefully I've put that here if I didn't leave enough space. I'm out of practice. It's been almost a month. And by the time you see this, it'll probably have been a month since the last video. And I'm so sorry, and that was not intentional. When you hear what I've been going through for the last 4 weeks, you will understand. And you might even be impressed that I'm actually here filming and somewhat happy, and woo! You'll see. You will see. Let's do this one. This is another Afghan. This is my other Afghan. I don't think you're going to see a whole heck of a lot of progress on much of anything. I did try. I really did. But my stitching time has been insanely limited. Crazy the last few weeks. I am not normally this busy. But anyway, Christmas Village Afghan. I think this is a crowd favorite. A fan favorite. I think people like this one. I know I like it. I had to frog a tiny bit, but I got back on track. Let's see. That is the wrong direction. Let's try it this way. Now y'all know I frogged over here, and I was gonna put that back, but then I thought, let's come down here. So I worked down here in this leafy berry-y section and some over here. But I will show you what I have so you can see. I am attempting very, very hard to show you. Oh, can you see? I'm looking through the fabric, so every time I pull that goes the wrong way. Listen, that's what, just use your imagination to kind of put it all together. That's what I'm working on. This is another 4/2. I think I want to say it's 20 count, but I think that's the Halloween one, and I'm not sure that this one is also 20 count. It is whatever it is called for. Again, the fabric came from Stony Creek. I imagine the pattern probably came from 1-2-3 Stitch, although it's possible it was also Stony Creek. I don't know. It truly is an Afghan. It's over a yard. It's like, what, 1.75 yards? Something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot of fabric. There's a lot going on. It's absolutely beautiful. Alyssa's working on it too. She did the colors right. My backstitch in the corners, wrong color. But I don't think you really notice. So, whatever. Let's see if I can tell you real quickly. The complete design is 44.5 by 53 inches high on 20 count white Lugana, worked over 2 threads using 4 strands of floss and 2 for backstitch. There's 30 squares. It's a 1.75 yard Afghan cut. So I think all that information I gave you was true. I gotta put this someplace so I don't forget to take a picture. I don't think you'll see much change with this. It is blend in place. Poltergeist Pirates. It is on the called for fabric, that bang from Craftswing. Bang. Yeah, Craftswing collection, 28 count. Let's find the actual fabric. I did finally get to some of the green down there on the front of the boat, the dragony boat head thing. I don't know what you call that. The boat maiden? That doesn't sound right. We'll just go with it. the boat head maiden front thing. Yeah. I worked on that thing. Masthead? No. It'll come to me. It'll come to me at 2 in the morning. Don't worry. It'll just pop in there. I spent 3 hours this morning trying to remember a word. And then I wouldn't let Alyssa tell me what the word, like I wouldn't tell her what I didn't know what it was, but I was trying to tell her, like, it's sort of like this, but I didn't want to tell her because then she'd know what it was and then I wouldn't remember, and I need my brain to remember things. Like, it doesn't get a free pass. I can't just ask someone. It took me 3 hours to remember the word resent, like resentment. 3 hours, but it came to me. I heard it. I heard the voices in my head say it. I worked on Wisdom Sampler. I have no memory of working on this. I don't believe I have a picture of it. Do I? Oh, I do. I lied. Lied, pants on fire. There is the cover. Are y'all horrified how crinkly my covers get? I don't sell stuff. I'm sorry. This is on fabric. 36 count cream, ivory, Edinburgh linen. And you're looking at the back. The whole time you've been looking at the back. I don't remember. I think I was just working on this side, like more of this plant, and over. That's, I think, a butt of a cat or a dog. It's an animal butt, I'm pretty sure. What in the butt? That's an awful thing to say. I say that a lot, and I don't ever stop to think about what I'm saying. It sounds funny. Another one that I really enjoy working on. I don't generally complain when the wheel spins it. I've been much happier with the wheel since I've gotten some of these projects that have deadlines. Since I've been working on those and getting either finished or close to the end of the thing, I've been much happier with whatever the wheel spins, I'll do it. I'm not doing that whole, I'm not going to do it thing now. I don't know how much of that you could tell was happening before, but it was happening. I don't have a great picture of Tropical Paradise. Hopefully I have one in the computer someplace that I can pop in here. Pop, 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 pop. Did I scare you? Maybe a little bit. I scare myself all the time. Lately, people in the house have been scaring me. They sneak around. Nobody's like trying to sneak, but you'll be standing there and turn around. All of a sudden, someone's standing there. It keeps happening. I was working on ooh, I'm sorry for that finger usage. It was unintentional. I know I worked on the branch some because I know Alyssa's always saying, nah, the birds are floating, like this tail is just kind of hanging there. I was, look, the branch goes all the way out. That's all I could do with the branch. And I'm sure I probably worked on him because it doesn't make sense that I would have done anything else. So clearly I still need to do some backstitch. I'm not sure. I think that's probably it on him. I probably just need to backstitch. And then apparently I started whatever that was. So, progress. I think there's only one bird left here and then a few on that side, and then I gotta get those branches in. So this could potentially be finished in like 5, 10, 15 years. I don't know what that text is. That's weird. Again, my husband's iPad and texts just pop up sometimes, and that one was a weird one. I don't think that was a legitimate one. So a project for my mom, as we all know, if you've been around. And if you haven't, then you don't know. My mom has breast cancer. She was diagnosed last June 20th to be exact. Not this year, the year before. It's triple negative breast cancer, and she is fighting it like a champ. Though she did call me today, and there is a problem now, and I will tell you about that. But this is what I'm working on for her for this round of chemo. It is High Hopes by Just Nan. I have a song stuck in my head now that I hope. I have no idea what song that is. I've not thought of that song in decades. I don't know what it is even. But my head's singing it. The voice is in there. Having a dance party. Maybe a mosh pit. Probably not to that song. very little progress. This last chemo trip, I was incredibly stressed out. Like, I haven't said that 15 times. There was a lot going on, and I was on the phone most of the time. So, I mean, I wasn't ignoring her, but like, I would check my email and texts and things like that. So, not much really changed here. I'm gonna have to do some work on this. I think I keep saying that. I'm gonna have to do some work on this outside of chemo, because I'm not accomplishing it quickly enough. I will not make the end of October deadline at this rate. Okay, I think we're down to these 2 and 2 finishes, I think is what we're down to. 2 WIPs and 2 finishes. I took this when we went to Utah and Idaho. It is Mill Hill, Buttons and Beads, Winter Cabin, Winter Series, Christmas Cabin. Close, really close, close enough. It's pretty, huh? I like it. It was good to stitch. I stitched while we were in the airport waiting, and a little bit, I think, that night at the first hotel. It's nice because you could just hold it in your hand, but I did not stitch on the plane. I'm not good at stitching on the plane. I'm too like freaked out about like single-handedly keeping the plane in the air with my brain. That's what I'm doing while I'm flying. Although I do distract myself some with my Kindle when we're landing and taking off, and during the flight, I've been watching, you can watch Ghosts on the, and I've seen every episode, both the UK version and the USA version, and I love them both, but the one that I can see on the plane is USA. At least Delta has it. I don't know about other airlines, but I keep flying Delta and they have it. So that's what I've been watching, just reruns of that, because it's so funny and it takes my mind off of things, and it's all good. I didn't work on this a ton, but I did work on this up here. Oh, my nose. I've got the FlossTube nose tingle. My nose really ever am I like itching it, but here we are. Tiny Modernist, I think I said that. Did I say that? Yeah, I don't remember the name. Jolly Christmas Bell Pull. I call it the jingle one. I don't know why. I even have like on my spreadsheet thing, jingle something. I don't know when I came up with that name. This is 28 count natural brown linen. And here we have it. Some changes. There's more white. The hat's more done. Santa is now not leaning forward all awkwardly, and this side now has some. That's this. One of the sides has green now. I think this one, the green and white. Got lots of extra fabric over here, but that's okay, because at least I should have enough for the bottom, and if not, then I'll just cut off from this side and attach it to the bottom, right? The things that we think of. I hope I don't ever have to do that. I have a feeling it could happen. We all know my math and counting and spatial reasoning skills and all that. All right, you ready for these 2 finishes? 2. One I finished this last weekend, like 2 days ago, and the other one I finished a while back, but we haven't been visiting with one another. So I did finish Miss Olivia's, the little pond. It is all done. I just need to get it framed and stick it in Alyssa's house somewhere. I suppose I could just give it to her and she could put it in the house. I love it. I'm not so sure that my letters were all centered and all that, but I mathed, and then that's how it came out. And that says a lot about my mathing. So if that bothers you, I apologize. She said it didn't bother her, Alyssa. Olivia smiles at it. Addie really likes it, and I'm good with it. If it bothers someone before I frame it, I'll fix it, but I like it. I am a happy camper. That was the Dimensions little pond. And then I finished. Now don't say the same thing everybody in my family said when I showed this to them. Why didn't you center it on the fabric? Because there's 3 of them that are going to go on this. And so that one's off to the side. Don't judge me. All of them said that. But anyway, I finished the raccoon, A Year in the Woods, cottage garden samplings. Maybe not. I did change I've told you before, I changed the color, that blue. It's supposed to be brown. It's supposed to be the brown that's up in the top of like these flowers, that brown. I changed it because I liked the blue better. I will change things on probably all of these in the series. I do intend to stitch them all. Isn't that raccoon adorable? So cute. It's a shame that I'm probably never going to hang these because I don't hang up 90% of what I stitch, but he doesn't need to know that. Shh, he doesn't know. All right, I think that was it for stitching. Well, I mean, I still have stuff, but like, I think that was it for the WIPs. I did have one piece of haul. Let me see if I can maneuver it out. I didn't mean to buy it exactly. It was I was buying something else that we needed at the house on Amazon, and this had been in my wish list, and then there was a price drop, and I was like, well, okay. Now, it said it was stamped, but I thought it meant stamped kind of like the Chinese ones on like AliExpress, where it's stamped in these awful bright colors and you just stitch over it and it goes away. No, this is stamped like old school stamped, like with the X's drawn in. So I'm not sure how well that's gonna go. Is that upside down? Yes. Wow. Isn't it pretty though? It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Look at those colors. But I think I don't know how I know that it's, oh, because you can see right there. That's how I was like, I don't remember opening it. You can get close enough, you can see all the little X's. Now, I know if I don't continue the X all the way, there's going to be a lot of empty space. And I don't want that. So this one's going to be a real challenge. I remember not particularly liking this kind of stamp when I was a kid and I tried it. So we'll see how I feel about it as an adult child. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. We'll find out. I'm looking at my phone instead of the cheat sheet I've got going on here. We need to spin. Okay, so am I going to the cabin this weekend? That's an excellent question. When I explain in the life what happened, I think the best bet is no, but maybe. So we'll see how much stitching. Every single plan has changed now. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Twisted band sampler. I like the twisted band sampler. I do not have a problem with that. Now let me take a moment to see with my experiment what a new start would be if we were to opt to do that instead. Let me pull up the random number generator. Okay. Okay. So that took me a while to figure out. I had done something so it was in the cloud so that I would be able to see the entire list. And I can, except it cuts off the numbers. So when I put in the random number generator and it pulled up 94, I don't know what 94 is without counting to 94. And I wasn't going to do that. So I ended up going back to the old school way and looking at the video I had made. And then it said gingerbread candy mouse. And I'm like, what is that? So I have found it. It is just Nan. It is a mouse. Now, I think that is adorable. And clearly I own it. But I think I'm going to stick with Twisted Band Sampler this weekend. So that is the plan. Okay, I keep looking down, but now I have no notes because the notes I had from last night are now downstairs. So, a lot has happened. Let me start with my mom, because I always do. She was doing absolutely fine. She had that issue previously with the treatment, and then she, like a champion, decided to try again, even though she had those horrible leg cramps for like 10 days. She has not had any more leg cramps, and that is awesome news. And I thought everything was going along just swimmingly until she called me this afternoon to tell me that starting on Thursday, now she is in trouble for not telling me this sooner, let me be very clear about that. Thursday after chemo, she was in bed, she went to like lay down, and it hurt when she laid down, no matter what side she was on. So she propped herself up with pillows. As long as she was sitting, she was fine. Her lungs were okay. Otherwise, they were painful. So the next morning, she was having trouble taking full breaths. She could take little breaths, but not deep breaths. Did she tell anybody? No. She waited till this morning. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, to tell the nurse to tell my sister and to help me. It sounds like a pleural effusion. She is much better. She is waiting to hear back from the nurse about what she should or should not do. I am not happy that she didn't tell me, but I also explained to her very nicely, I am a nice human, that if she doesn't feel comfortable telling me something, she needs to at least tell the clinical trial people. Tell that nurse woman, I guess she's not a nurse, but I call her that, the clinical trial person. Tell her so that she can talk to the doctor. That's super important. My mom says she doesn't, it's not that she doesn't feel comfortable telling me, she just knows that like I'll do something about it, and she was just kind of waiting to see if it was going to get better. So I've told her once again that that is not okay, because what if it doesn't and she ends up, you know, passed out someplace and nobody knows? You have to tell somebody. I don't care who you tell, but tell somebody that can do something about it. So I don't know at this point what's happening, but she feels better, and that's all that really matters. She said she didn't want to tell me to because I was super stressed out last week, and I had had migraines for 4 days, and 4 days in a row, and she knew that, so she didn't want to tell me. And I explained that that doesn't count. That's not allowed. She still has to tell me. Like, it doesn't matter how stressed I am. I am okay. I can handle it. So tell me. I'm going to skip over like a lot of stuff. Addie had a birthday party. I'll throw in a couple of pictures. It was at a park. It was 109 degrees. I don't know why it was 109 degrees for like 5 days in a row. It was so incredibly hot. So that was on the 7th. It was a Saturday. We did that. I'm jumping all around here. I don't think any of this is in order. So on the 7th, we did that. It was great turnout. You know, it was fun. Everything was great, except that it was incredibly hot. But Addie is now 2. Addie is my granddaughter, if you're new, my daughter's daughter. And then Sunday, because, you know, I didn't sweat enough on Saturday, I went to Carla Being Crafty, her house, Carla. If you don't watch her, you should. And if you don't, but you like me, you should look at not the last Moving Chronicle, but the one before. The last video, I was not in it, but I was in the one prior to that. But you should watch all of hers anyway. I went to her house. I'm not thrilled with the parking situation. She's not either, but fortunately she has a parking spot because it's an apartment complex, and the other apartment complexes in the vicinity, and there is no street parking at all. And the businesses there have signs saying, no, don't park here. So I parked illegally in a shopping center parking lot, and I just hoped I blended in enough. And I even pretended like I went into the shopping center and then like, oh no, I'm lost, in case it was on video, and then turned around and then walked. It was 7 minutes, according to my phone. 7 minutes in the heat. It was not yet 109 because it was only like 9:30 in the morning, but it was still hot. It was probably 90 something. It was hot. 80 something. It was hot. By the time I got there, I was already a bit toasty. She has AC. It's just in the afternoons it doesn't keep up because the sun is coming right in her windows, which she has closed. She has curtains and whatever, but the sun just beats on her little house thing, and it was hot. Plus we were active. She did an amazing job. I couldn't believe how much we did, and she gets the bulk of the credit for that. I was truly impressed. I was there from like 9 until 5. When we worked almost the entire time. She got a ton packed. I just teased her because every box was miscellaneous crafts, and I was like, you're never gonna know what anything is. So I feel for her with this move. It's not gonna be easy. It's so stressful, but you got this, Carla. So I really appreciated that she let me come help. It's, you know, letting someone into your house, even just as a guest, is tough, but having them go through your stuff to move, that takes some something. She's got whatever that something is. So I hope she gets it all moved in time, all packed up. But it was actually about as much fun as you could have packing. We get along well, and I enjoyed it. But it was hot, and I was sweating, and it was 109. I don't think it was 109 at her house. I think it was like 106, maybe 108. I can't remember. When I left, I saw what the thing was. By the time I got to my house, it was 100. And that was at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. It's hot. It's really hot. So that's basically the good stuff. The stress came mainly over a 2-week period, the bulk of it being last week. We had an issue at work where I had gotten a call from the bank one day, and they said, hey, we have somebody here cashing a check, and we want to make sure that it's a valid check. And I said, sure, what you got? They gave me the check number, it was fine. They gave me an amount, it was fine. Then they gave me who it was written to, and that was not fine. I'd never heard that name before. I did not write a check to them. So they had stolen it and altered it, and it was just over $10,000. So they said they would decline it, and that's the last I heard of that. I had had a stolen check, and it was altered a month or two before, but we knew how they got that. The vendor knew that somebody had taken like a sticky thing and grabbed it out of the mail on a Saturday. So that was just a fluke thing. They also altered it. That one did get through. They didn't call me. So back then I had said, hey, put a note on my account, don't cash checks. Like, just don't. And they said, we can't do that. So when this other one called, I was like, oh, well, maybe they did after all. So at that point, I reached out to the bank and said, hey, I think we need to set up ACH. Can you send me the NACHA rules and whatever you have to be able to do that? And I started researching it on the software side as well for a system. So what I would need to do. It's all very complicated. I don't even know if I can do it, but we're trying. But in the process of that, I discovered that there was another check that had been fraudulently cashed. This one was written to United Postal Service, UPS, and the back, the endorsement was Andrew Villegas, something along those lines. And I'm like, why would UPS handwrite on the back of the check this person's name? Like, this has to be fraud. And UPS was like, we didn't get the check. So I went ahead and did the fraud report for that. Now, keep in mind, each one of these has to be notarized, which is super fun. Carla did the first notary for me. This one, I have an appointment on Thursday because the bank says they can do it, and it's just down the street, so we'll see. I tried to go today, and they said, oh, no, you have to make an appointment. So, Thursday at 2. If that doesn't work, I'm going back to Carla. We'll just meet at her work, and she's awesome, and I know she does it right because the last one was completely fine. Anyway, so I went to work on like a Monday or Tuesday. Not this last week, but the week before. Or the one before that. It doesn't matter. I went to work, and one of the first things I discovered when I got there was an email from a vendor saying, hey, why didn't you pay us? And I'm like, of course I paid you. And so I looked at the thing, and I had paid them, and I had cleared the bank. So I went in the bank account, and I looked, and it was another signature that was not correct. It was not their endorsement. And I was like, what is going on? And all three of these were on the same date. August 6th was when those checks were written. So I went through every check from August 6th that had cleared the bank, and every single one was either altered or fraudulently endorsed, and the ones that were not in there were just missing. They had never made it to the vendors. So somebody stole the entire batch of checks, and one of them they altered was $18,000, and they got away with it. Nobody called me. Nobody asked me if that was okay. I don't know if they cashed it or if they mobile deposited it. I have no clue how that got through, but it did. And so there was, let's say, 25 checks. For each one, I had to reach out to the vendor and say, hey, your check was stolen, your check was cashed or missing, and there's a stop payment on it. It took me an hour and a half to put in the entire fraud report with the bank. It took forever. But then I had to go through each one, and I had to call each vendor, explain to them what it was, ask them for the ACH info so I could replace it that way. And then I had to go through and manually do every ACH because I don't have the power to do it through the bank account and the software yet. So there's like a token thing, there's two-factor authentication. There's a lot of steps to each one of those. It was incredibly time consuming. And then I had to reach out to every vendor after and say, I initiated that ACH, let me know when you get it, and this is what it was paying. And then I started getting the, yep, we got your payment, but then they would ask me, what was it paying? I scroll down in the email. I told you, there's a screenshot. It shows exactly what we're paying. Whatever. That took me 3 days. In the midst of that, And that was all me. I did that entire thing myself. In the midst of that, it was also month end, and I'm trying to do other things. We discovered that the AP automation software we use pretended to put 120 invoices through the system that it didn't actually do. They were just gone. So we identified the 120. Now, Alyssa did the bulk of this. We had to go through, manually put in every single one, and then reach out to vendors and say, I'm sorry, you will be getting a check. That took a week and a half to do all of that. She did the bulk of that. I did do some too, but so all that stress, all that, oh my goodness, it's so time consuming. We're trying to do month end. Month end was so late. I don't think I finished it until like the 10th of the month. And usually it takes me a day or two, maybe 3 days tops. Trying to do payroll, trying to do everything, get it all. It's stressful, right? So then, because I don't have enough going on in my life, the busy week, every 3 weeks is a busy week, because that's the week that my mom has the oncologist on Tuesday and the infusion on Thursday. And I love that I get to see her, but I did prefer it when they were not in the same week. I got to see her more often, and it was a little less stressful. I am not complaining in any way, Mom. I don't want to change anything. It's just that I know that week is a little bit more difficult because I have to go there twice in the week, and it takes time because traffic's not great. Not complaining. So this week, I can't remember what I had Monday. I had something Monday. I don't know what it was. And then Tuesday, I don't even know why I'm laughing. This is not funny. Nothing about this is funny. Tuesday, let me back up a little bit. Over the weekend, I discovered that there were fires. There were 3 fires in the area. There was one close to the house, there was one close to the cabin, and there was one close to Jacob's family's cabin. My daughter's husband's parents, they have a cabin. 3 fires, 3 structures. I've been watching. They were barely moving. The one by Jacob's family was pretty concerning. The one down by my house, the wind was pushing it a different way. It was actually pushing it more towards Alyssa's house, but Alyssa's house was so far away that it wasn't a concern. If the fire had come from a different direction, yes, that would have been very concerning, but it was coming like below it, and it would have had to go through so many houses to get to her. It's not even, and a lake. It just wasn't going to happen. So there was only a little concern, but yeah. And then this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sarah, Stitcher Mommy, and Colette, the highway stitcher, was supposed to come to the cabin, and we were going to stitch like a little mini retreat thing. So I was going to go up on Saturday evening, and then, because my husband's birthday was Saturday, I was going to go up Saturday evening after we celebrated his birthday, spend the night, and then Sunday I was going to clean the cabin that they're going to stay in, because my cabin isn't big enough, but there's one across the way that the man said we could use. So I was going to clean that for them. That was the plan for this week. We're still back a week. Now you can go back. So the previous weekend, that's when I was watching those fires. Monday, everything was the same, nothing to worry about. But I texted Sarah and Colette Tuesday morning, and I said, hey, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. The cabin's still on, let's still do it. But there are these 2 fires, and depending on evacuation and smoke and all that and how it is with the birds, this could potentially be an issue. I don't think the flames are going to come anywhere near, but look, here's where my house is and the fire. Here's where the cabin is, the fire. Everything's really far away. I think it's fine, but I want you to know that this could change things. They were fine. In fact, Sarah had just lost her dad, so she was thinking about canceling anyway. I'm so sorry, Sarah, for your loss. So much loss. Anyway, Tuesday, I went to work with my husband in Anaheim. We have offices side by side. We went to work together. Everything was fine. I went Tuesday morning. I took my mom to the oncologist. Everything was fine. Came back. That afternoon, he started getting calls from somebody, one of the cabin owners, and the man, his name is Larry. I'll just make it easier if I tell you his name. Larry called him and said, hey, this fire's getting really close. And I'm looking at the map, Watch Duty, in case you all need an app to see what's burning on the West Coast. I think it's like Texas over and up. I've been looking at that map. I've seen the perimeter. That fire is not moving. Even the written words, it said that fire was barely moving. And Lily was like, no, it's super close. And then he sent us video. I don't know if I have that video, but he sent us video where he is standing at an outlook area, and the fire is like 5 feet from him. And that's only 2 or 3 miles from the cabin. There is no possible way that fire went from 4,000 acres to 34,000, I think is what the number was. How did that happen in the course of an afternoon? And I was talking to a guy. There's an observatory behind us, not the big one, the smaller one. I was talking to the guy, the maintenance guy, and he was telling me that he was there Monday and he had seen the smoke a couple of ridges over, and he wasn't worried at all because fire doesn't travel quickly that way because the wind doesn't come that way, and it was also multiple ridges over, so it would be days and days and days, and there'd be plenty of notice if there was an issue, because that's how every fire's been, just days and days of watching it come closer, and you freak out for days and days. No, this one just did. It just, and the command center had a meeting thing last night, and they said in that meeting there was a 1% chance of that fire doing what it did. 1%. Yet it did it. It went 10 miles in the matter of nothing. So, and that was 10 miles as a crow flies, not up and down the ridges. That's even longer, just straight. If you were in a plane, 10 miles. They've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. So he's telling us this, and he's sending us video, and then he calls and he's like, I'm getting out. This is really bad. I don't think the cabins are going to make it.
So I got some fire hose out. But check this out. We got up a flame now. It's just one ridge over. I'm going to start throwing shit in the truck. This is fucking gnarly.
He had his bird, his dog. The worst part was that the neighbor next to him has a bunch of parrots, and those people had their parrots there, but they had gone to someplace 2 hours away because of a family member that had passed away. They were 2 hours away from the birds, and they could not get there to get them out, and we were horrified, and there was no way to get them out. This person, Larry, that was there, he doesn't have a vehicle to transport that many birds, and some of them are really big. And he doesn't have the carriers. He'd have to break windows and stuff to get in. He offered to help as best he could, but there was really not much he could do. So at this point, we drive home, and we are just glued to phones, TVs, anything that's giving us information. Larry, when he could, he would reach out. At that point, though, we figured Larry had left, and so we were watching. They have cameras mounted on towers and stuff in the mountains in California. They're kind of all over the place, and it's a public feed. You can find it. It's like WatchDuty has it, and you can see whatever the camera sees. We watched in real time as the ski resort burned. We watched it. The cameras are above the cabin, like 3 miles up. If you walked the trail, it's 3 miles. That's the one I walked, and I took a picture. That selfie I showed you guys of me all red with the microwave tower behind me, that's where those cameras are. They're looking right down. We saw the fire. We saw an explosion. We were positive that the cabins were gone, and we cried, and we were so sad. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible night. The news was just showing buildings burning everywhere, all over. Between the 3 fires, there was so much loss. Buildings were just burning. And it was hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but we were pretty sure. We did talk to one of the organizational camps is below us. We talked to that man. He had not been up there at the time. He heard about the fire and that it was moving quickly. He went up. He got some stuff out of his cabin. He saw some firemen down at the bottom of his driveway, and he said, hey, you need to go up there and protect the structure, because it was about 6 feet, I think he said, from his house at the time. And they went up there and looked and said, hell no, and they left. And so as he left, he watched one of the houses burn, not the one he lived in, but the other one. And then he has video, and I think I have it, I think I can show you, of him driving down the road, and you can see fire on both sides, and he's like clearly very upset.
This is all, oh my goodness, it looks like hell. This is crazy. This is the one. Oh yeah. That's the guest ranch entrance, gone. Houses up above the hill look like they're gone. It's all Mount Kearside. Hopefully I can see to get out of here. Oh boy. That's the Mount Kearside. That's the other side. Well, see if these controlled burns helped at all. Problem is, it's going up into the treetops. Still a lot to burn.
It looked like it was out of a movie. It was awful. He wasn't sure if he could get out. It was terrifying. Anyway, probably, I'm gonna guess 9:30 at night, Lily sent us a video, and that I know I have, and I will put it in here. And I apologize if there's language in any of these, because obviously people are upset. So they're not worried about the language that they're using, but I do apologize to you, especially if there's small children. I don't think there's language in this one. I don't think. This is a video of our cabin. This is my cabin. And the condition that it was in at that moment when, well, I guess a few moments before when he filmed it. And it took him a while to get signal to send it.
Hey Mike, so we got an engine parked out in front of your cabin here. You're pulling fire lines. The fire's right up behind you. It's burning kind of perpendicular to you, but it's coming. We're starting to get a few embers landing around here. But just rest assured, you've got about 10 firefighters here. They're getting water out. Can you see them?
Hey, you guys need to get out of here.
All right, we're on.
You guys need to get out, like now.
All right.
So yeah, you saw that. That is terrifying. That fire is so close. I don't know why those firemen were there, because that's a dead-end road, and we've been told before that fire will not go down the dead-end road if the mountain's on fire, because they may not be able to get back out, and they won't put them in that situation. I don't know why they were there. I still to this day don't know why they were there. They saved our cabin. 100% they saved our cabin. Here are pictures of my husband and son went up the next day. They went through the barricades and stuff and kind of snuck in. I know it was bad. They were safe. They wouldn't have done anything to put themselves in major danger. They talked to Larry first. They knew the conditions. Also, Alyssa's husband's father is a captain in the LA County Fire Department, and he got assigned to our area. So he was up there, and he also was giving us updates. So, but I have pictures from when they went up, and so you can see how close it came to the cabin. It came right up to the back of the shed. Came right up to the back of the cabin. I still don't know how we got so lucky. And then I have photos of Jacob's dad's crew and his engine. I love the photo of his engine in front of our driveway, but also his crews putting out things, spot fires that had popped up. Thankfully, Larry was there to alert people, because the hoses wouldn't reach our cabin or the backs of a couple of other cabins. So we were really at the mercy of firemen, nature, luck, miracles, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, because the fire was coming directly at the cabin, and somehow it turned, and it didn't. And the firemen and whatever. So as time passed, we were definitely worried. My husband and son went. My husband ended up having a heart issue, and Larry had to get some of the firemen that were there, the EMTs, to come, and they checked him out, and his pulse was like 150, between 130 and 150. His blood pressure was 175 over 117, I believe, but his EKG was good. So he didn't stay very long. He dropped off some stuff for Larry, a generator that runs on propane and some giant battery things, so Larry would not be alone in the dark and unable to reach anyone if he needed help. He also brought him some food and stuff because he didn't have anything really to eat. He hadn't planned to be there for this. So my husband drove him back home, and he has been better since. He saw the doctor this morning. They gave him some medication, and they're keeping an eye on him, but he's doing much better today. He's not ready to go back to the cabin, and when he does, I will be driving, and I told him, just close your eyes until we get there, and you should be okay. So for the next few days, it was really touch and go, because like at one point a pine cone caught on fire, like it just ignited from a hot spot, rolled down the hill and hit the back of a cabin shed, not ours, but a friend of ours, and it ignited the shed. And so I have pictures of that. And then the fire crew, it happened overnight. Larry doesn't know exactly when it happened, but apparently there was a fire crew driving through and they saw it and they stopped and went in and put it out. But in the process of doing that, they backed up to where his septic tank is. Most of us have septic tanks like in the back, hers is in the front, and they crashed through the top of it and had to get a bulldozer to come pull them out. So there's a picture of his septic. I'm sorry if you're offended by septic, but that's what it looks like. So she's gonna have to get that fixed along with the back of the shed, but she's just thrilled, everything's fine. There's pictures, there's video of Larry. He was up at the vault, he was trying to fix a water meter and instead was fighting a fire. It just, things kept igniting, and we've had water issues. The pipes have been breaking because when the firemen turn on the valves and stuff, because they've been using we have hydrants up there, and they've been, not like a normal hydrant, we have special like fire hydrants. Special, we put in these hydrant thingies with hoses, and our company donated hoses to everybody, and thankfully there was some extra hose up there, and he was able to get the hose further than he could by himself. So we will be donating a lot more hose because now it's clear, it doesn't reach our side, it doesn't reach the back of several cabins, so we will make that happen. In the meantime, he was constantly putting out fires here and there and keeping us all updated. So I'll go through the videos and put in anything that I think you should see.
So we got two taken care of, hopefully. Throwing dirt on it. Got a wire line on it, but they had no idea. So here we got 3. And we got the fire. Fucking wind is turning around on us here. It's doing a U-shaped deal. I got one crew out of Arizona up here. And my shovel. I think 1 is safe. 2 looks like it could be okay. But this is coming down on 3 right now.
How many more cabins are up there, 2?
We got 13 in all.
13.
We got 13. But on this side of the road, this is number 3. And the next one is number 4. That's probably the ones that are in imminent danger right now. I got a fire line on the other end. We got everything wet over there.
I know one that was really disturbing to me was just a couple nights ago. I knew he needed to leave. He has surgery tomorrow, Larry. So he needed to come back. But he was thinking about postponing it because, he doesn't want his cabin to burn. He doesn't want any of the cabins to burn. So he was videoing the other night, and you could see the fire, and he did leave. He left yesterday, I think.
This is live on the mountain right now.
But as far as I know, everything's okay. But that is a very disturbing video. I didn't like that one. Also because Ralph, Jacob's dad, was texting at the same time saying, yeah, it's not looking as good as it was before, and when we're here and we're fighting the fire as best we can, but also, you should know you're not safe yet. So thankfully Ralph does come and check on the cabin every day, multiple times a day. I think he's gone now. I think he had today off, and I think they're sending him home tomorrow, so we won't have that, and Larry's not there anymore, so now it's just all we can do is hope that it's going to be fine. That camp below us, they ended up losing one house and one structure that they called the shooting gallery. They weren't shooting actual guns. It's not even a paintball gun. It's just like you shoot the gun and it's like air projected and like this ball flies out. But it was a whole neat setup, like a country, like a Western kind of scene, and you could shoot the things, and we had so much fun there, and it's really sad that that's gone. I was on the phone with the observatory guy when he drove up to the observatory to see. He managed to get through the barricades somehow way after my husband and son did, when they had National Guard out there. Well, they still have National Guard, but it's been almost impossible to get in since they put the National Guard there. But he managed to get in, and he had permission, just to be clear. He didn't sneak. He explained, and he had documentation and all that. Anyway, he asked me to stay on the phone with him as he drove up there, and it is gone. It was destroyed completely, and that was so sad. He handled it so well. I think it was harder for me than him on the phone. But he did send us some pictures later, so I will show you those. It appears today that an entire camp did burn. The one across the freeway from us is completely gone. Every structure appears to be gone. They have gone through, and there's a map where you can see what structures were damaged and what was destroyed. It's not 100% accurate, because in other tract, they think the one that was damaged is one over. They think it's cabin 4, and it's really cabin 3. Some houses were lost. One of the visitor centers burned to the ground. I probably have a picture of that. It's really sad. It came through so fast. The other camps that are further away are fighting for the camps today. I've gotten some emails and talked to some of them. They're hoping it's going to be okay. The fire has died down quite a bit. It's at 50-something thousand acres. It came so fast, so fast. Thank goodness the town evacuated, and only a handful of houses. But most of them were near us. There's only, I think, one in the town itself, and it was way up on the back. If I've left out any photos or pictures, I will put those in here.
It's okay. That's an accident waiting to happen.
It is.
But anyway, that's been incredibly stressful, and then my husband having health issues on top of that didn't help. And I appreciate that my mom was trying to protect me, but she also should have told me about hers, and then all that work stuff happening. It's been incredibly stressful. I feel like there was something I wanted to tell you, and I'm at a loss as to what it is. Obviously Sarah and Colette didn't make it. The birds are okay. I should have said that way sooner. They were able to get back and get the birds out. The birds are living safely with a sister in someplace way far from fire. All 17 of them survived, and Larry's bird is okay, as is his dog, but they've had to stay there this whole time. Everybody else got out, but the bird and the dog had to stay, so he's been taking care of them. That was such a huge relief. I think I was more upset about the birds dying and being alone and scared and seeing that coming than anything with the cabins. I mean, the cabins, as much as I love them, you know, it's material stuff. It's not a life. I don't think the Forest Service would let us rebuild if they burned down, so I'm thankful that they didn't. I love that community. I love everyone in it. When we had gotten up Wednesday morning, the fire was Tuesday. When we got up Wednesday morning, the map, I think I slept less than 4 hours that night. The map showed that our cabin had burned, that 3 of the cabins, 1, 2, and 3, had all burned. That's what the perimeter showed. So it was again, I was crying. I thought for sure that had happened overnight. And then around 7 in the morning, Larry called and said the cabins were all still intact. So again, I don't know how that happened. What else? I think it's going to be a while before they fix some of the stuff that, I know some people are going to rebuild and they're going through the insurance and all that. I think some people didn't have insurance It's just so hard to get insurance in California. I'm not even that surprised. It's so expensive. Anyway, the bulk of the files are out now. The one in Jacob's parents' cabin is almost out. The one by us, I think, is out. And then the one up there is getting more outer. It's getting better. So anything else I need to, oh, yeah. So I went to the gynecologist and I went to the primary care doctor. The gynecologist said, we'll test your hormones. The test came back, my hormones are fine. So I don't know if it's perimenopause. I still don't know what it is. She said just exercise more and take herbal supplements. I haven't really researched that yet. I'm not real thrilled, but whatever. She didn't like my blood pressure. The other doctor didn't like my blood pressure, but it's always high when I go to the doctor. And she tested my thyroid, which was slightly off, but I've been on thyroid medication for 24 years, so it gets off sometimes, but it was only a tiny bit off. She reached out to my primary care doctor. My primary care doctor was like, it's fine. It's only a tiny bit off. It was fine. So I saw my primary after, and she did the skin check. She found 3 spots she didn't like, so she took pictures, sent them to the dermatologist. The dermatology people called me and said, yeah, we want to see you. I went there yesterday, and she looked. She found 3 spots that are going to be biopsied. 2 of the spots are the same as my primary saw, and then there's one that she didn't like, that the primary didn't care about, I guess. I don't, they didn't see the same things except for 2 of them. So they only do biopsies on Wednesdays, and they're booked until October 16th. So October 16th, I will be having 3 biopsies. One is a 6mm punch. That sounds incredibly painful. The other 2 are just scrapes. Based on the notes I saw this morning, there's a chance of melanoma of 2 of them. One of them looks like basal cell. So I'm hoping it's not melanoma, because that is super dangerous. Basal cell, I'm fine with. Cut it out. Do what you need to do. It's fine. So I will keep you updated on that. It will be 2 weeks until I get the results. So October 16th plus 2 weeks. That added a little stress, but also, I mean, it's good to be doing this now. I requested the check. I've never seen a dermatologist like that. So if you've never had your skin checked, you should have it checked. She told me I should be wearing SPF 100 all the time. That seemed a bit much. The notes she gave me, the handout thing, said like between 30 and 50. So I'll probably stick with my 50. The moisturizer I use most days is a 15. It's a good brand. That brand was recommended, but I need to bump it to the 30 that they make. So I will do that. Or I'll just do 50 all the time. I don't like the thick sunscreen. I don't want to wear that all the time. So I don't mind the moisturizer, but that's that. So I don't know what's wrong with me. Apparently, if it's not perimenopause, maybe it's stress, because she said it could be thyroid, it could be stress, or it could be perimenopause. But based on those results, I'm guessing it's stress. I still don't fully believe that, because I have a lot of symptoms, but it is what it is. And she said most people don't hit menopause till 51, so you can only take estrogen for 5 years safely. So she said she wouldn't have prescribed estrogen for me yet anyway. I have to wait till at least 51. It's hard to tell about menopause for me because I had a hysterectomy, so I don't have periods. So I don't have that to gauge it, and that's why she did the hormone checks. And apparently I have the ovaries of like a 20-year-old. Based on that. She didn't say that. I'm just basing it off of the charts and graphs that they show you of what's normal and age-wise, and I don't know. Yeah, I think that's about it. If I find any pictures or videos of anything that I meant to tell you and didn't, I will add those in now. Otherwise, I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks. Could be 3 weeks, could be 4 weeks. I don't know. I know I have some traveling that I need to do the rest of this year, but that's all I can think of. So thank you for hanging out through all of this. I am sorry that it was not super happy, fun, but hopefully everything gets better from here, right? Knock on wood. Knock, knock, knock on wood. Another song I haven't thought of forever. All right, this is long. I'm sorry. Bye.